following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
Jimmy, this is MC Alfred and Ozzy. I'm just chilling, Jimmy Star, yo, sitting down and designing. Why every man never thinking, what are we gonna be wearing? Yo, I'm a Liverpool MC, you can't test me. Big up the girls inside the party. Let's get down to crazy Jimmy. Big up myself, the known as Alfie, the one and only, the Turkish MC.
Always love the clothes of Jimmy.
British punk, yo, what I wanna be. Jimmy Star, new celebrity.
We'll take you out to Jimmy Star's. He'll dress
Hey ho, hello. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, bringing you the good times in music, fashion, pop culture, and entertainment. We got a super fun show for you guys today. Before we get started, let's first say hi to my cool, outrageous man about town co-host, Mr. Ron Russell.
I'm very busy making out with my doggy. Give me a kiss, Astro. I never do anything if he's kissing me. I stop immediately. There's nothing like the love that you get from a pet. For those of you out there, if you're lonely, if you're alone, rescue a pet. They'll make your life just
Oh my God, he loves his
happy.
dog so much.
I love my little boy. I love him so much.
That's-
He's brought such joy and happiness into my life. Haven't you, Astro? Yes, my sweet. He likes a tongue kiss. I don't know how we learned that. Maybe from Jimmy.
Anyway, you guys, we have a really fun show for you today. We have writer, actress, and producer Jamie Bernadette coming on, who we met several years ago out here at one of her movie premieres. And then we have Karen Whelan coming on, who's a psychotherapist, and we met her at the Rhonda Swan party
Interesting
in
lady.
Bel Air, and she should be a lot of fun too. We got a chat room starting to fill up. What's up, chat room? Let's say hi to Hub Reynolds Jr., B. Claudia's in Germany, Teresa Sabin's in Florida. Hold on, I got to see who else is in there. Ian is in there. I think he's in Colorado. I have to go back up to the top. Ian Smith is in there. Teresa's in there. I don't know. ADS, who I don't know who that is, but they say they're looking forward to Karen Whelan. I don't know if they're even in there still right now, but we're gonna have a really fun show today. Before we get started, let's talk a little bit about what's going on, because Ron shot his little role in Clowney on Saturday.
It was not a little role.
It was actually a really good role. He did it phenomenally well in it.
Little role.
I didn't mean it like that.
It was our scene. We were in the Christmas section of the movie, and I played the husband to Dawn Heisinger.
Donnelly Heising.
Heising. It was a fun shoot. I knew my lines. We got there. I was happy that Joe Kelly, for my sake, did a rehearsal. And all the actors thought, my God, that's wonderful, because they never rehearsed. And suddenly everybody was enjoying the rehearsal. We got to fine-tune our lines and make them fit the character. And we all talked about what we wanted to do. And then when we shot it, it went beautifully. And I think that when you see the movie, our section of the movie, which is the Christmas section, I think will be better than the rest, because it was done the way things were done years ago in old Hollywood.
And you
Professionally.
you perform with Donnelly Heising and Mark Hoadley, both who have
Right.
been on the show.
Right.
So it's all fun.
Fine actors. Why is it always
And then
hair-
you
hair on
guys,
my
I
microphone?
don't know. And then you guys, last night, if you guys have Tubi, we watched a really cute movie with Joan Plowright
Plowright.
and Rupert Friend, and it was called Mrs. Palfrey at the Claremont. And it's a very good, feel good movie. It was very
It's a
enjoyable.
sweet movie.
Yeah, sweet movie, like one that anybody could watch.
Yeah.
But we liked it a lot. There's no violence, no blood, no guts, no cursing, no anything.
Just
it
a
was really
human
a lot of
interest
fun.
story. A very sweet, kind, loving human interest. A feel-good movie. A human interest movie. We have to make more of those. We have too much gun shooting, too much violence. The young people are growing up now with the desire to get guns and shoot each other because they think it's okay. They have heroes now in movies that are blowing up people, killing people, chopping up people. You cannot send that signal out to every kid. Because when I was young, it was Batman and Howdy Doody and Flash Gordon. They were the people that taught us who to be today. We were influenced by all of the movies that we saw, and then when television, of course, came about, what television taught us. So I can honestly tell you that these films of violence, constant violence, we have a television that has everything on it that you could possibly get. And we go through hours of selecting because each movie is about rape, killing, sex, homosexual.
They're all the same.
Wait, I'm speaking rudeness. I'm going to hit you with
They're
the
all
mic.
the same though.
You want to get hit with the mic? I'll give you a black. I'm dying to give him a black eye. He was so sexy with that black eye. Jimmy, let's go move the sofa again.
No, we're not going to do that.
I really loved him with the black eye. I thought it was like with some hood from Brooklyn. He was really hot looking. I think I really would like to give him a black eye one day. Anyway, if he keeps interrupting me, now I lost my train of thought. But anyway, films today have got to lessen up on the gun shooting. I mean, some films are just hours and hours of nothing but nonstop bullets flying and people dying. This
I
is
like
not
those
what
too.
to teach the young people. Their minds are sponges. They absorb everything. I know people say, oh, that's baloney. Films have nothing to do. That's bullshit. Listen, years ago, women copied movie stars' hairdos. They copied their clothing. Young men copied the look of Errol Flynn, Cary Grant in my day. Then it was James Dean with the red jacket. Everybody went out and bought a red jacket because James Dean wore it in The Rebel Without Cause. Then later on, it became Marilyn Monroe, Kim Novak, Sophia Loren. Go down the line. Everybody emulates and imitates film. Beautiful stories. Three Coins in the Fountain. Everybody went to Italy because they saw that movie. They were influenced by it. Then it went down to Easy Rider, and then it got worse and worse and worse and worse. And today it's sinful how we have to watch gunfire and murder to be entertained. How about guys, you write a story, a good story, a story that we're interested in, where people are human and normal. They don't fly in the air, kicking each other in the face, machine gunning each other down like dogs. Okay.
So it was called Miss Palfrey at the Claremont. It's got Rupert Friend before he became like a super huge star in it when he was like young, and it's not a movie young people will like, but older people will like it.
People have got to learn that film is story, and stories are different.
It's a great story.
Unfortunately, Hollywood doesn't give a damn about a story. All they care about is, can the star bring in the ticket? We're investing $20 million in a film. Let's make $100 million profit. So get a big star, pay him $100 million, pay him $1 million to be in the movie, which is ridiculous. No actor's worth $1 million.
They get a lot more than that.
I don't care who they are. Well, they ask $1 million because they know that their name will bring 150, 200, 300 million. So if you're going to use their name, they want a piece of the action. But then what happens is the quality of the films are not good anymore. Because if you're not doing $1.5 million movie, the movie stinks. The props are crappy, the scenes are crappy, the acting is crappy, the costumes are crappy. And of course, the writing is crappy.
They say we look terrific.
Who looks terrific?
We do.
Oh,
They say we look terrific.
I'm so bored.
They want to know if I got a facial. So Don
Yeah,
Hinton is in
I
the
sat on his face. That's the only facial he ever got.
Don Hinton is in the chat room, and she joined us, and so did B. Claudia joined us, and somebody else I saw in there who joined us. And our guest for our second guest is actually in the chat room, Karen. So hey, Karen, we'll be talking to you in a little
Karen, I want you to tell your story that you told me at the Swan cocktail party.
So it's all going to be fun. Before we get started, too, our first guest will be calling in about 5 minutes. Let's just do a couple of commercially things. Like, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can hear us on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, TuneIn, Pandora, Amazon Prime, and SoundCloud. Oh, and the other person who's in there that I didn't say anything to was Angela Joseph.
She abandoned me. She doesn't love me anymore.
Yeah, she works. She's not working on Wednesday
I
today
don't know
now.
where she went. She
Just says hello.
She disappeared in Colorado somewhere.
Oh, and they want to know what kind of watch you have on.
Oh, just my black,
Fitbit.
Stay alive watch. It keeps my heart rate. I'm watching my heart rate.
That's funny. Oh, Cindy's in the chat room too now. Cindy Lady Lake. So now everybody's
I want to
joining
get
us.
back to Angie, the abander. what's the word I'm looking for?
The abandoner.
The abandoner. Is there such a word?
I don't know.
Now that she's a big shot working with the Rockets, she doesn't want to talk to us actors anymore.
That's funny.
Angie, baby, I miss you. Where are you?
There you go. She's doing fabulous. She sent me an email earlier today saying she's doing great.
Yeah, she's doing great, but we miss you. You know, you never come to California anymore, and you're so busy now. You better be careful they don't put you in a rocket and shoot you to Mars.
She's rocket. They wrote rocket chick.
That's what she is. She's a rocket.
Now
chick.
she's the rocket chick.
She's the Cape Canaveral cookie.
You gotta like love it all.
I love that Cape Canaveral cook. They don't call it Cape Canaveral anymore. Now it's called Kennedy.
Kennedy Space Center.
Well, that's ridiculous calling it Kennedy. He murdered Marilyn Monroe, and they allow them. You know, people today are throwing down statues and carrying on about being slaves and smashing history and changing everything around, and yet they have all these Kennedy honorary things to Kennedy. The Kennedy brothers murdered Marilyn Monroe. It's open and shut. There's no question about it. The CIA, they, and the mafia, they all got together and they murdered Marilyn Monroe.
Also, you know, so when I was a kid, when I got chicken pox, so my relatives were visiting, and he had a plane. My uncle had a plane, and he flew us to Cape Canaveral, and then we went to the Kennedy Space Station. But I got chicken pox while I was there.
See, you got chicken.
I got chicken pox at the Kennedy Space Center.
That's a boring story. Why are you laughing? You find that very amusing?
Yeah, I think it is
don't you?
amusing.
I think it's a stupid, boring story. Who gives a shit? You got chicken pox. Maybe if you got laid or something, that would not be
Daycare, and I was
interesting.
like 7.
Well, I'm sure it's something you were getting
Oh,
laid.
yeah, right.
You know, sissy fairy that you are.
No. Anyway.
Anyway,
So our first guest, actually,
I have
she
to
has
rush
shown us-
after this show. I'm having a crown put on my lower back tooth. Is that painful? I've
Is
never
that
had
balding?
a crown.
Oh, I have.
Is that painful?
No, because you're not getting a root canal, so it won't be bad.
But what is it? Do they put an injection in my gum? So I don't want to be
Yeah.
stuck. I don't want that needle in my gum.
It's not bad.
No, I can't do with that.
Yeah, don't be a little girl
I'm not a little girl. I'm a big tough guy, but I just don't like
who's
needles
like
in
a
my
little
gum.
girl.
I'm not a little girl. You're the little girl, you little ballerina. 10 years old in Cape Canaveral, getting it.
Yeah, right. So anyway, we're gonna bring on our first guest. So let's see if we can see her. Bring her on, Juan. Oh, bring her on, Juan. That was pretty good, right? Hey, Jamie, how you doing?
Hey, Jamie, cut her hair. You
Fantastic.
cut your hair.
Oh, she always has short hair, kind of.
No, I saw her. She had longer hair.
That was years ago.
Well, no, not
I
that-
go from like here to here, and that's back and forth. So
no, I thought you had really long, unless you had extensions or.
No,
or
you're thinking of
hairpiece.
somebody else.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of her. I swear I remember you.
We
with-
fight a lot. We're married. You'll get used to it.
I swear I remember you with longer hair.
I mean, long time ago, I did have really long hair.
Of course you did. I'm not lying or I'm not senile yet. You know, James.
Not yet. Not yet. Hold on. Let's introduce us. All
She's
right,
so
everybody.
pretty.
Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, the incredibly talented writer, producer, and also phenomenal actress, Jamie Bernadette. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So let me introduce you first to my cool, outrageous man about town
I
co-host,
know
Mr.
her.
Ron Russell.
I've met her like
Hi,
1,000 times.
That's okay.
I know her. You have a beautiful smile. You know that?
Oh,
Smile. Give me
you.
that smile. It's a pretty smile. You know, you laugh when you smile and you make me giggle. It's a giggling smile. I love it.
that's good.
Unfortunately,
happy.
in the horror movies, you can't use it.
No, not too much, actually.
No,
So,
I mean, if you look sweet and smiley, people walk out of the theater. They want you to be wicked and killed and bloody and chopped up.
So hold on. We have a chat room. We have a chat room filled with people. And so first say hi to everybody in the chat room.
hello.
There you go. There's a whole bunch of people in there. And then Dawn Hinton, who said that she watched like 5 of your movies in the last couple of days. So say hi to Dawn because she she's a big fan. Everybody's a big fan, but Dawn wrote on my Instagram and on my posts like how happy she was that you were coming on. So say hi to Dawn.
Oh, that's sweet. Hi, Dawn.
There you go. Oh, and Angela Joseph too says you look
No,
fantastic.
don't even talk to her.
Oh, yeah.
I'm mad at her. Don't even talk to her.
No, it's funny. All right, so you guys, we originally met Jamie. So we've lived here like 4 years, and the first premiere we went to, it was your film actually. I Spit on Your Grave, Deja Vu, and so that's where we originally met you, and you had no idea who we were, and and it was a lot of
I had
fun.
No idea who you were.
And it had Maria Olsen, who's been on our show, and Camille Keaton and Jim Tavari and you. And so let's talk a little bit about that one just to get the ball rolling as we're going along, since that's like an iconic film. So how did that all
With
come
a
about?
horrendous title. I spit on your grave. I mean, really.
So
I
had you
mean,
seen the original? Did you see the original and the remake
Oh yeah, for
of the
sure.
original?
I had seen both before I ever even went in for any audition or saw a casting notice or knew that they were making the sequel to the 78 film. So I was very familiar with the franchise.
And because one thing that's cool about you and your like normally we bring people on and we call them a scream queen. I can't really call you a scream queen because you're not really the scream queen one. Most of the time you're the one like killing everybody, or you're in charge, or you're like the head of the army, or whatever you do. Like you're not actually usually the one, who's like the scream queen who's running around, running away. You're usually the one like going after people and killing them.
Well,
I think you're right about that. It does seem, even if it doesn't seem that way in the beginning of some films, it ends up that way. So I'm glad about that.
there are 3 people in every horror movie. There's tits and ass, there's the scream queen, and then there's the actor. You're the actor. Well, no, isn't it true? There's always tits and ass. It has to be to keep the perverts happy. And then there's blood and guts and eyeballs falling out to keep the mentally ill people happy. And then there's your acting to keep us intelligent people happy.
So I'm a huge horror movie fan. Ron is from the golden age of Hollywood. He's a Turner Classic Movie.
I'm from the days of when we made movies that were real movies, not this crap they make today. I'm in half of them anyway. I mean, I'm in such wonderful productions as Clown Motel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then, of course, Clowny, which we just shot last week. So I think we ran out of clown titles. We should start in on something new. You want to be in a clown movie? Let's put you in. We'll put you in Clowny 37. No, Clowny 37. We're back again.
It sounds fun. I don't know that I've ever been in a clown movie.
I don't think you have.
Actually, I teased Joe Kelly about his movies, but they are high camp. I mean, when you still like Killer Tomatoes and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, I love those. No, I love those films. When they have fun with a horror movie, I'm happy. But when they make it serious, I say it misses. It's not Psycho, Alfred Hitchcock Psycho, it misses. But your movies are good. I spit on your grave. I mean, it should have been something like I pour vodka on your grave.
So let's.
It was originally called Day of the Woman.
That would have been better.
Yeah.
Day of the Woman.
Mhm.
So are you a horror fan? Like, okay, because you've made a lot of horror fans, but you're also doing a lot of other stuff now that's not horror. But were you a horror fan before you became
horror? Stop with the horror.
Okay, wait. Ask how do you say horror?
Horror.
Yes.
Well, you're another one that says horror. From New York, we think you're a big whore because that's what he's saying. A horror fan. You're a horror fan. You got to be horror.
I'm a horror fan.
Horror.
And
oh my God! Everybody in Brooklyn.
So
now
wait.
saying,
So
oh,
what?
she's a whore. She's a whore.
No. So what were some of your favorite horror movies growing up before you became, actively involved in them?
I did watch a lot of Hitchcock with my mom, so like Psycho
you did.
and The Birds, and I love the classics, Halloween, the original Halloween 1 and 2, amazing films. I love Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street. I was obsessed with the original. I would act the scenes out. I almost memorized the entire film. I probably
That's
seen it
awesome.
40 times. So
Well,
yeah, I
that's
was
why-
watching a big horror film when I was little.
That's why you are a good actress, because you were learning from the good films, not from the junk. And that, I mean, anytime you copy Hitchcock or you go into The Birds, I mean, those are classic.
Wait, I have a story to
movies.
tell her then. Okay, so we had Lisa. We used to live in Pennsylvania. We had Lisa Wilcox on the show. I think it was Lisa Wilcox. Is she the one? And so we're talking about horror movies, and she's in Nightmare on Elm Street, and she's the one who gets sucked into the bed. And so he says to her, and he doesn't research anybody, so he doesn't know who they are. He's just off the cuff, and he's like, as long as you're not like the girl who gets sucked into the bed with the guy with the knives and everything.
No. I said, as long as you're not playing the girl laying in bed and that nut gets a knife and comes through the mattress and kills you.
And then she's like, "Yeah, that was me."
And I didn't know because I never watch. I don't even watch the movies I'm in. Do you watch your movies without vomiting?
I haven't seen all of them. I'll be honest. I really don't like to watch myself. So
Me
if
neither.
I watch them, it's one time and I'm good. I'm good.
Like
I
at the premiere, you watch it
No,
at the premiere, and that's
red,
it.
At the red carpet, I watch, and then I see myself blown up on that big screen, and I look and I say, "Oh my God, you need an eye job, you need a facelift, you need Botox, you need Restylane, and also you need to do better in the next film."
I love it though. So do you still have to like for the I get for like the really bigger things, but like when you're doing the indie horror films, do they still make you audition, or do you just pretty much get them based on who you are?
I just get them now. They usually just make me an offer.
Yeah, I figured that would probably like
You've
happen,
established
'cause
a
you've
good
established
name, a good
yourself.
name in the business. You have a great name in the business.
which is absolutely
Everybody
true.
knows your name, and that's what sells. If you're in a film, the film is going to move quicker than if it's Mary Douchewad from Sunshine City.
So let's brag a little. So you guys, first of all, some of the cool TV stuff you've seen her on. First of all, you were amazing in NCIS New Orleans, which I don't even watch the show. I only watched to see your episode. But you were really, really good. Midnight Texas, phenomenal. And so you're like, I want to know if these are like a series. So you're in all these movies and they all start with the wrong. So we have the wrong high school sweetheart, the wrong blind date, the wrong Prince Charming, the wrong fiance, and the wrong teacher. Is that all like some kind of like because I haven't seen any of them. Is that like some kind of a trilogy, a series of films that it's all the wrong, or it just happens to be you're in all these films that start with the wrong?
Well,
That's okay. I'm in clown this, clown that. I'm in 5,000 clowns. Don't feel bad.
I mean, it's a running theme that Lifetime does these wrong movies, but they're not all interconnected.
Okay.
So they're standalone.
Okay, there you go. But those, I mean, Lifetime, being on Lifetime movies is a big deal. Everybody watches them. Everybody sees you. That's how everybody knows
Enough
who you
about
are.
Movies. You got a boyfriend? Don't smile.
We met her sister the other day when we saw
she's
her.
not going out with her sister, so who cares?
Oh,
We want to
I'm
hear if she's got a
married.
boyfriend. We want the dirt about the boyfriend.
Oh, I'm married.
Oh, so do you still have a boyfriend? How many years are you married?
Oh, I just got married in October.
Are you happy?
Oh, congratulations.
Well, shut up, Jimmy. I'm interviewing. Are you happy?
Oh, I'm thrilled.
Is he good to you? Is he a good guy?
He's amazing.
Is he handsome?
Yeah, he's really good looking.
Is he hung? I talked to a lot of the girls. I was in a movie, and I was in the trailer with 6 of the girls in the film who are all sexy, famous girls. I won't name them. And these girls began talking about all the actors that they had sex with, and who's got a little one, and who doesn't do this, and who couldn't get it up. I mean, women really destroy men. They honestly do. I think, they think that when a guy talks about a chick, it's like, wow, she got a great rack, she's stacked, what nice ass. But women, oh, he had very small testicles with a tiny penis. Oh my God, he couldn't do this, he couldn't do that. And I thought, Jesus, ladies, give us a break.
We're gay. Women tell us everything.
Right. So I said, I'm a man. And then one of them, the famous one, turned around. She said, oh, well, you're gay. It's okay. I said, no, it's not okay. But anyway, it's important for a man to have a sexy lady like you. And it's important for a sexy lady like you to have a sexy man.
So is he in the business? Is he an
Actor?
Is he an actor?
He's not.
That's good.
Mortgage business, but he did actually act in a film that I directed. It's not out yet, and he was actually fantastic.
Oh,
Is he
there you go.
cute? Is he good looking? Is he good looking?
She said gorgeous.
Yeah. So if he came to Palm Springs, all the girls, the fags would run after him. Is he like gay bait? Cute gay bait?
Yeah, probably. Probably. She says.
Well, I know a couple of dykes that would love you.
Actually, we're gonna ask Dawn has been watching your movies all week. She wants to know what did you think of your performance in The Furnace? It looked like you had to run 200 miles.
Pretty much. I mean, I absolutely love the way that film came out. It's such a beautiful story. The director, Daryl Root, is amazing. He's an Oscar-nominated director. It was the experience of a lifetime getting to go to South Africa. It was life-changing, actually. So, but yeah, it was a really tough role. I was very jet lagged. I slept 2 to 3 hours usually every night when I was making that film, even though the producers flew me in early to give me time to get over the jet lag. I don't know. I couldn't switch over. So I did that movie on like hardly any sleep, but it was tough. And yeah, it was a lot of running. I was very, very sore. There were days I would run all day long, but it was beyond fantastic.
There you go, Dawn.
Now-
She said
now
beyond fantastic.
You're in my very darling friend Janae's film. You know, my Janae is a trip. I always say he's a trip. When you go to Janae's house, you're no longer on planet Earth. You enter another world, a world that Janae creates, and I'm sure you'll agree with me. He is probably one of the most outrageously interesting people I've ever met. And he's quite a character when he becomes Liz Lauren, who I love because he's still the most beautiful female impersonator that looks like a woman and does it with grace and
Actually,
style and
asked her
class.
if she knew that. Did you know that Danae does
Of course
dresses
she
up as
does.
Liz Lauren?
He's doing pickups this week.
I know, but that doesn't mean she knows that. Do
Did
you
you
know
know
who
who he
Danae
is?
Montague King? First of all, we're talking about Danae Montague King from the movie
That you're in. Did you have
Maybelline
did
Prince.
you have a wig on in that movie, long hair?
I did. Yeah.
That's why you had. See, Jimmy Star, you don't know your
I
ass
knew
from
she had
your
long hair
elbow.
because she pulled it all
No,
up.
I'm telling you. I remember the last time I saw her was in Janae's movie, which is called the Maybelline
Prince.
Prince.
So Ron and Danae have been friends for many years.
Many years.
Ron used to impersonate the legendary Jane Russell,
Right.
and then they became really good friends. And Danae is Liz Lauren, who's kind of like a takeoff of Sophia Loren.
Sophia Loren.
Have you ever seen Danae dressed as Sophia Loren?
I haven't.
See, she didn't
Oh,
know.
you didn't know. He's fabulous. He's fabulous. He's the
Wow.
he is the best that's left. I don't work anymore as a female because first of all, I never was a drag queen. I was an actor who only acted as this woman. But Janae does it quite often. He still dresses. He's almost a cross dresser. But he is just the most fabulous person. We saw his movie. We're at the premiere. Of course, You're Good. And the girl that played the old lady was phenomenal because meeting her at the premiere, she's a young girl.
Mm-hmm.
And how she pulled off being an old lady. The film is a good film. I knew this. I read the book. The book was terrific. In fact, I'm on the cover of the book. I think Janae has me making quotes about the book. The film, I don't know. You know, we need millions of dollars to make good films. There's no question about it because people today are so sophisticated. Years ago, you could do a corny film, a bad film, and people didn't know any better. Like those terrible films that, what's his name used to do, the famous guy, that Johnny Depp played his life story.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
The gay guy, the crazy one. Anyway, I'm going nowhere.
Yeah, you're not.
It was a
going
good
anywhere.
film. It was a good film, and you were great in it. You played a really good part.
Oh, thank you.
I would have liked to seen you in it more, but
Yeah, more.
because I kind of thought when I saw you on IMDb that were in it, I kind of like thought maybe you were like I thought maybe you were like one of the leads, you know, because your name would bring attention to the
Right.
film. But
You know,
we had a really good time at the premiere and the after party though, and I think you did an excellent job.
when
Oh,
a
thank you.
when a professional is in a film, even for 2 seconds, you see that professionalism immediately. And that's what I found with you. You know, your scene came on and right away there it goes. Now we have a film.
Hmm.
So it's sad that, how can I do this delicately? I can't.
It was good to
But
see
you
you in
know
the
what I
film.
mean. You know
we
what I mean.
loved it. Well, I mean,
But
we
anyway,
enjoyed
everybody go see the Maybelline Prince.
It's not out yet.
When it comes out. It's about the story about the Maybelline cosmetic company, and was she murdered, and who murdered her, or was it an accident? because she died in the fire.
There you go.
It's a good film. The book was terrific. I loved the book because the book, you know, we made the movie in our head when you read the book, and I kept saying to Janae, "Did you kill her?" You know, and he said, "No, I didn't." I said, "Well, you're a suspect. You could have killed her." So watch the movie and see if the Janae Montague King, who's the head of GMK Cosmetics, did he kill Maybelline?
Ron uses all his stuff. All right,
Oh,
so you
look-
have a brand new film, and I actually thought it was going to be terrible, and I haven't seen it, but the trailer's pretty good. Just because it's an asylum film, and sometimes their films aren't always that great. I mean, they're fun, they're a ton of fun, but Jurassic Domination, and it actually looks pretty cool. So tell us a little bit about it. You're like a general or something, right?
Yeah. I mean, I never played military or in charge like that at all. I play Colonel Ramirez in it, so yeah, it was a new role for me. And as I was doing it, I was like, gosh, I don't know if I'm if I'm selling this, like I'm doing the best that I can. Sometimes we don't see ourselves like the casting director sees us and the producers and the director. And then I watched it and I was pleasantly surprised. I was like, okay, I can see it now. So yeah, it was different for me for sure. But
the dinosaurs look good though. Because I've seen, you know, everybody there was a little while where everybody was putting out like a dinosaur movie, but the dinosaurs, you know, would like make you laugh. And this one, they actually look realistic and they look like velociraptors or whatever from like Jurassic Park. So they came out pretty good. So did you have a good time doing it?
I love working with the Asylum. I've worked with the Asylum several films now, and I mean, they always treat me really well. I always have a great time. So the director was great. The cast was fantastic. So it was a good one.
So what we're gonna do? Because I want to. I actually.
One thing I want to say: there are people who read lines, and there are people who become the character. I feel when you work, you become the character. You don't read lines. You know how many actors just read lines? You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
But you become the character, and so that I'm sure as a general, you became that character.
So we're gonna let everybody see because we're gonna play the trailer for them. So
I'm sure you did a
So
damn
Jamie,
good
what
job.
I want you to do is, and I'm hoping YouTube doesn't shut us down. But if they do, just hang on because our audio will keep going, and then we'll be back. Well, you'll still see us anyway, but everybody else, we're gonna do this. So what I want you to do, Jamie, is you actually just do some sort of introduction for it, and after you do it, Juan's gonna play it for us.
Oh, you want me to do the introduction?
Yeah, it's your film.
Okay. Should I do it now?
Yes, do it now.
All right. So here's the trailer for Jurassic Domination.
Good girl. Good segue.
Is that enough? What I'm about to show you is highly classified. The cargo was a living weapon, being transported to a military facility nearby for combat training, and it's escaped. I would like you to bring them in alive.
What is them?
Allosauruses. I'm assembling a special ops team to recapture our assets.
What is that?
I'm instructing you to use whatever means necessary.
Both assets have entered the tunnel.
Prepare for an assault on our base.
I got blood over here.
They took out an entire barracks.
They're smart. They have a rudimentary knowledge of strategy.
Should be looking for a secure place to build our nest.
Just up ahead. Those eggs.
We're gonna lure them in. Get this under control, now.
We can't get out into the wild.
I'm flying blind here, man!
Now this
Yay.
looks like a good film.
It looks so much fun.
And you do look. You are very much a general, kind of tough and cold and hard. Good.
Yeah.
Eric Roberts, we love him.
Yeah,
you know,
he's been on our
He's
show.
a sweetie pie. I mean, he's really a good friend. And
It's great to work with. Yeah, it was the first time I got to work with them. We had been in some things together, but that was the first time we were ever on set at the same time and working together.
Right.
So it was great.
I love it. So I think the dinosaurs in that too, they look really realistic. They look
Good.
realistic, which made me happy because I thought, oh no, it's going to be really like bad with the dinosaurs. But the dinosaurs, they did a phenomenal job with it.
Yeah,
I will watch this film.
Yeah, I want to watch it
This
too.
film I'll watch. No, I don't watch everybody's films. You know, I haven't got time to be bored to death. But no, seriously. Well, you know what I'm saying. You have to go to some friend's films and you sit there. You want to kill yourself. You say, "What am I doing here? This film is horrible. Can I sneak out without offending anybody?" But no, this film looks good, and you look good. And I like your hair like that.
Oh, thank you.
I used to be a hairdresser for years. That's how I survived. Why, you think I made money acting? Please, I would be dead by now from starvation. I was a top hairdresser in New York in Sutton Place. I did models and celebrities, so I'm very hair conscious. I kind of like that look a lot. Did you ever think of sort of semi-shingling the back of your hair and leaving the front just flopping around? With your jawline, I would love to see less hair behind the ear. Because I think it brings out your cheekbones, your chin, and your jawline. I like what you look like with that behind. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I've done something similar, a haircut like that years ago.
I think it's very becoming on you.
Thick? Yeah, my hair's so thick. I need
That's
a really
good.
hairdresser to cut it short, right, so it's not big.
Right. No,
You
you
know?
just need to have it. We used to call it shingling. Now they call it what they call it now? Hazing or something. I don't know what the hell they call it. They change everything around. You're not a woman anymore. You're a they. You know, so I'm learning the new language of the morons.
So,
but hey, I would have definitely given you a tighter nape of the neck cut, and I would have thrown your hair all over the place, and I think you'd be smashing. Absolutely wild and stunning. Give it a shot. You may love it. And it's easy care. I mean, you come out of a shower, you slop it around, let it dry naturally if it's cut properly. You know who you can cut, who cuts hair beautifully?
Who? I would like to know, yeah.
Oh, he's fabulous. He's not cheap, but he might give you a break because he's a very good friend of ours. And that's what do you call it? What the hell is his name? He works in Beverly Hills. Oh my God. He's a dear friend of the one with the white hair, the long white hair.
Oh, Daniel DeCristio.
Yeah.
Daniel DeCristio.
Daniel DeCristio. He works in Beverly Hills. Tell him that Ron said to give you a good price.
You can look him up. He's on social media. He's
Yeah,
got like long blonde hair down to his
and
ass.
he's a darling friend of mine. Tell him Ron Russell said if you don't give me a cheap price, he's going to cut your hair off and cut your balls off with them.
He might even know you because I think I invited him to your premiere. I spit on your grave. I think he might have been there.
He's one of the top. He does all the big movie stars. He's one of the top haircutters in the country. He's fabulous.
So let's
he'll look at you and he's going to see what I'm seeing, and he will do your hair beautifully.
So I need somebody good.
No, but seriously, he's very expensive. Just tell him to give you a break. That Ron Russell said so, because then I will do a commercial. I just did a commercial for that slut. Tell that little tramp bitch that I said I just did a commercial for him, and commercials on our show are 60 grand. So he owes you a nice, maybe a free haircut.
Yeah.
There you go.
So
no, I'm gonna go on my Facebook. I'm gonna tell Danny to do you beautifully.
So I want to do some other bragging for you. All right, so you're in Harley Wallen's Ash and Bone, which we haven't seen, but Harley's a really good friend of ours, and we go to all. So we love Harley and his wife Katie, and they're fantastic. And then you guys, she's in Colonials, which isn't out yet. We got invited to like the premiere party of the trailer or whatever around Christmas time, but we couldn't go. But that's got Sean Kanan and Mike Ferguson and Juliet Vega. You guys, Juliet Vega is from Studio City. Sean Kanan's show, and Sean and his wife are really good friends of ours. And so is Mike Ferguson.
Is like my brother, and Michelle is my sister. I adore the both of them. They're the closest people to us.
And then
Sean Kanan is a handsome, wonderful actor, and a terrific guy.
I'm going to mention some of these other films because we know a lot of the people in them.
And
X-Men.
also, what's his name? He scares people to death.
Oh, Mike Ferguson.
When Mike walks in a room, oh yeah, people run away.
We love him.
No, they run away. They figure he's a dope addict, a slave trader, murderer, killer, zombie.
And then he opens his mouth and he's like the nicest guy on the planet. It's like a teddy bear.
I love him. I love Mike. I tease Mike every time I see him. I say, I know you want to make out with me. I know you want to tongue kiss me. I know you want to love me. And he goes, yeah, baby. How'd you know that? How'd you know that? How'd you know that? So Mike is, plays along with it. Great guy. Did you have any fun with Mike?
Oh yeah, I adore Mike a lot.
Yeah, everybody does. Everybody
so much
does.
fun. And he met my husband actually, and he kept saying congratulations. Congratulations. It was hilarious.
No, he's good
Mike,
people.
Mike is good people. Am I in a movie with Mike? I think somewhere. Have I ever worked with Mike?
Well, he's in Clown Motel too.
Yeah,
but he's just not in your scenes.
He's not in my scenes, but I worked in the same film with Mike.
So Axemen at Cutter's Creek with Alyssa Dowling, Tiffany Shepis, and Brink Stevens. We've had all of them on the show. The Bone Box with Maria Olsen and David Chokachi. We've had both of them. You've done a lot of stuff with Maria Olsen.
Yeah, I have. I adore her. We got really close during I Spit on Your Grave Deja Vu. That's when I really got to know her.
She's fabulous.
She's a good actress.
Did you see Pretty Boy? She was in Pretty Boy, and she's phenomenal in Pretty Boy. She almost steals the whole show.
Oh wow!
In it. Yeah, you'll have to see that one. Then you have
wait. Pretty Boy is the second to Blind.
Yes.
Yeah, not Blind. Blind is number one. Pretty Boy is second. She does about a 5 or 6 minute nonstop monologue.
Wow.
That is so incredible. I sat there and I thought, this woman certainly can hold an audience and act. And if it was me, I would need 20 cue cards, plugs in my ear, and 5 people telling me my lines. I could never remember. Do you remember lines easily?
Pretty easily, yeah. Maria does too. She won't miss a line.
I love that.
How do you learn your lines?
I don't know. Just going over them and over them.
Do you have somebody read to you?
No, I learn them on my own. Usually first I learn them on my own, and then when I have them down cold, and then I'll have someone read with me.
You run lines with them.
Yeah.
I love it. Like what what's the biggest monologue you had to give, you think?
It was actually probably in Jurassic Domination.
Oh wow, okay.
It was probably 12 pages on paper. It was long, and it was a lot of technical scientific dialogue.
I hate that when it's technical. I'm lucky I remember him, those, and you, and hi, and goodbye, let alone technical. I was in a movie where I had to do a line, and I had to say something about a Bitcoin.
He couldn't figure out what
I
a
never
Bitcoin was.
I never heard of it at the time. I never knew what a Bitcoin was. So I kept calling it a Bitcoin. And they kept saying, no, Ron, it's a Bitcoin. I said, well, what the fuck is a Bitcoin? I don't know what that is. And they said, it's a form of money. I said, since when? They don't use money anymore? So anyway, I had such trouble with the stupid word bit that every time now I see that director, he teases me. Meanwhile, he just lost about $40,000 or $50,000 with coins.
That's
Yeah,
just
so
hilarious.
he's
I
not
hate
going to
that.
forget them.
So then we have American Satan with Andy Biersack, Denise Richards, Boo Boo Stewart, and Malcolm McDowell. How was Boo Boo Stewart? Did you get to meet him on set?
I did, yeah. Very, very nice. Everyone was really nice on that. Yeah, I had a couple.
How was Malcolm? How was Malcolm?
I didn't meet him. Yeah.
Oh, he's been on our show.
That I shot. Yeah.
He's been on the show, but that's a really good movie, American Satan. Like I actually enjoyed that one a lot. That's a good one.
Movies out, Toots.
I only wrote down the ones where we know
She's
all the
working.
people in them. I didn't even write down like the 50 other ones that she's been in.
You're working and smoking.
Yeah, I like that. And then I wrote down, and I only wrote this down because it's so funny. I watched this movie the other day. I love it. I know it bombed, and you don't really have a role in it because it calls you uncredited reporter. But I love Gem and the Holograms. I swear to God, like those dumb kid movies. And so, but I literally just watched it on Sunday, not knowing. And so then I wanted to go back and see if we could at least see you as the uncredited reporter.
Yeah,
Did you ever?
somebody keeps adding me on that. Yeah. But it is a good film. It's a really good film.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Why were you uncredited? You're too big. to be in a film. And
Maybe it's
be
not even in it.
credited.
Are you even in the movie, or somebody just put that there for you?
Somebody keeps seeing somebody that they think is me, and
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, because I was like,
Because I know you would never be.
because I don't
in
really
an
see you as
uncredited
uncredited
film.
reporter either.
You're too
Yeah.
far.
You know, it'd be different 15 years ago, maybe, but not like in the
No.
last couple years.
I mean,
Um,
I
Yeah,
can't
IMDb
imagine.
is weird about things like people just add you and then you can't get it off, and
Yes.
you know.
That's such bad theater. It really is. It stinks when people do that crap.
So, out of all the projects you've done, do you have one that's like more of a favorite, or one that maybe it's not your favorite movie, but you had the best experience on?
I mean, we've already talked about it. I would say The Furnace. It was,
Okay.
yeah, just such an amazing experience. It's just a beautiful film. It really touches people too. Like, I get letters, people like, I was bawling my eyes out. Like, it moves them, it changes their life. So it's one that I always recommend.
Okay. And where is it? Is it streaming anywhere now that we can actually see it? Do you know?
It's actually, I think it's on Tubi now. So you
Oh,
can watch
cool.
it for free right now with ads. Yeah.
We watch Tubi all the time. We love
Yeah,
Tubi.
should we watch it, or am I going to not like it?
It's not a horror movie, though, right?
Not horror. It's
Oh, good. Good.
drama. It's like a movie.
Oh, I like it. I'll watch it tonight.
Oh yeah, we'll watch it tonight then, because
Tonight we'll watch it with dinner.
we need something fun to watch.
Yeah.
So
No,
okay,
I'm
so,
done with horror movies. That's all I live in, the world of horror movies. You know, I'm so sick of them. I mean, one more premiere of a horror movie, I'm going to scream. I'd like to go to a movie once in a while where it's a drama or a comedy or something intelligent. You know, film like years ago. No, we need to get out of this gory, bloody machine gun mentality.
Mhm.
We need more feel-good movies. We need more happy movies because the economy stinks, the government stinks, everything stinks, the world stinks. War.
so wait a
I
second.
don't have to tell you.
I want to go back to that though, then, because because you're doing everything now. I mean, I think you have done a lot of horror, but I see you really branching out into everything now. Which, congratulations, number one, that you're not pigeonholed into just one, and number two. So how is it different for you? Because like working on network television, like on NCIS or something, it has to be totally different than like going and doing.
Oh yes.
You know, one of these indie films, you know, like Maybelline Prince or something. Like how was it for you? How was it for you doing network television?
Well, I mean, some shows want you word for word on the dialogue, so that's different. Like, I think independent films are more lenient.
Yes.
So you really have to go and know your lines cold. But then, like on Midnight Texas on NBC, they were more lenient than NCIS New Orleans. So it also depends on the show you're on. But you definitely have to be aware of the expectations before you go to set.
Also, though, they spend a lot. They spend like as much time on one episode as like an indie movie spends on the whole movie.
No, I've done television.
Hang on.
You have more time. You have more time. Independent films, I mean, my goodness, shoot so fast, some of them. You get 1-2 takes. So network television, definitely, usually there's more time spent. So you get, you know, instead of 1 or 2 takes, maybe you get even 15. So that's a luxury for sure.
I love that. What were you going to say?
I forgot.
Okay.
I did television years ago, and yes, you're right. They want it exactly as because of the union, the script, the writer, you know, wants it word verbatim. I find that in these crappy movies I'm in, it's great because I have a chance to develop the character. I try to make it real, and I talk with the director and the producer, and I say, "Listen, can we tweak it? My character doesn't sound quite like who I am." And we can custom tailor the work to who our personality is. And that's what I like about working the low budget films.
Yeah, you do have a lot of creative room.
A lot of creative room. Exactly. Well put.
So,
Exactly.
okay, so let's say this is something I like to ask all, and I want to make it a 2-part thing for you instead of a 1-part thing. So first of all, if you could have ever been in any movie that's ever been made in history, what movie would you have liked to been in? But then the second half is I also want to know what horror movie you would have liked to have been in. So like a regular movie and a horror movie, and then you can be thinking in the background. I want to know male and female actor, bucket list of you could work with anybody in the industry, living or dead. Anybody living or dead, who would you have liked to have worked with, male and female?
I think horror film. I would have loved to be in the first Halloween.
Yes,
It was just so epic.
good pick. I agree. That's a good one for you.
Yeah. And then other film, I think The Great Gatsby, the Baz Luhrmann, I think was absolutely beautiful.
That's fun. Yeah, it's a great movie. Ron likes the original.
I like the Robert Redford, Mia Farrow better.
I like
because
Robert
it was
Redford.
true. It was true.
Me too.
It was truer to the book, and the budget back then, 3 or 4 million was like 30 or 40 million today. So it was a very lavish film.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. I love to go into the world of the super rich.
And what are some of the some actor and actress that you think, oh my God, I would love to work with?
Probably I probably Ellen Bernstein.
Oh wow.
Her Dream. I think
she's
incredible.
wonderful.
I think
she's
Sally
wonderful
too.
Wonderful actress.
Yeah, I think.
Now you would have played Daisy. You would have played Daisy, right, in Gatsby?
Yeah.
The part of Daisy.
Yeah.
You probably would have done a good job with it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Of course, I would have had to make you blonde. Have you ever been blonde in a film?
No, I think it would be fun to go blonde. I know it's a lot of upkeep though, but.
No, I don't mean go blonde. I mean wear a wig, a blonde wig in a movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever?
No.
Never.
Never.
Wait, so who was the male? Who was the male actor that you'd like to work with?
Let's see. I think Leonardo DiCaprio is great.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
When he was in The Great Gatsby. I love that. I think that's so much fun.
Yeah.
I think it's just terrific. So how long have you actually been acting?
About 15 years now.
Wow.
Oh, so you've actually made a big splash in a very little amount of time. Because people have known you. I mean, for the last 5 years, at least 5 or 6 years, people pretty much know who you are. When you mention your name, everybody knows. That means it only took you 10 years to really make a big splash.
And I've been in the business 64 years, and I'm still nobody. So you see, sour grapes for some, honey bunch.
Somebody wrote Rosemary's Baby. Why? I'm not sure why that is.
That was a wonderful movie, Rosemary's Baby. That was Mia Farrow did a great job with that film.
Yeah.
I never thought of Mia Farrow as an actress, but between Gatsby and Baby, I thought she did two beautiful performances.
Oh, also, you guys, you can follow Jamie.
Her mother was Maureen O'Sullivan, so she did a very fabulous actress of the 1930s and 40s. Actually, Maureen O'Sullivan played Jane in Tarzan with Johnny Weissmuller, and that was her mom. So Mia Farrow came from good stock.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever watch any of the classic film? Ron's a classic movie expert, basically. Turner Classic Movies, all the black and white. He was best friends with Jane Russell back in the day. And and he
all the old movie stars with my buddies.
He knew Betty Davis, and he knew Elizabeth Taylor. He knew all these.
I was in. I never. See, I have to be careful about knowing, meeting, and friends with. Jane Russell was my buddy, best friend. Betty Davis, I knew, and Elizabeth Taylor, I've been in her company.
Wow. Wow.
That's a three different. Some people like to bullshit and say, "Oh, I was friends with Elizabeth Taylor." I could never say I was friends with her. She didn't call me up and say, "Hey, Ron, come over for coffee."
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I was in affairs with her, at events with her because of AMFAR and because of Elizabeth Taylor Foundation for AIDS Research. Betty Davis, I knew. I knew pretty.
You went to eat with her.
I knew her pretty well. I had lunch with her. I used to go to her house, but I couldn't just ring the bell and say, "Hey, Betty, I'm coming up for a drink."
Right.
No.
You gotta love all of it. So, do you watch any of the classic movies?
You know, I've watched a lot with my mom because she loved to watch classic films. So I know that I've seen a lot, but I don't know that I could name them. Like I mentioned, the Hitchcock. She loved Hitchcock, so she had a big influence on me with that. I watched this Niagara movie one time with her, Marilyn Monroe.
Monroe, yep, right.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I know I have because she loved those films.
Well, I'm from that era, and I learned to act at 19 years old when I started making movies. And I carry that over into today's films. And I thought maybe it's going to be corny and funny, but we just finished doing Clowny this weekend. And I, for the first time, said to my producer, director, we need to have rehearsals. My actors in the movie have never rehearsed. They were thrilled with rehearsal. We tweaked dialogue, we became friends. It's the old technique. And I say to actors, use your hands because hands tell a story. Don't stand there with your hands at your side reading lines. Act, become. And they're doing that now and they learn from me. So I get so happy that maybe in a little small way, I'm helping some actors to bring to light what we had back then, but not corny. In other words, without the corny dialogue.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Learn the emotion of acting. There's an emotion to it. Just like now, how you blinked your eyes. You're understanding what I'm saying. So your eyes just blinked to yes. Actors have got to learn that.
Yeah.
Because
I think that.
The camera doesn't miss a trick, and you know that.
It
The
doesn't.
camera picks up every friggin' thing.
Yeah.
You can't fool the camera.
Did you
cannot
take
fool-
acting lessons?
I did, yeah. I took at the Van Mar Academy when I first started. Ivan Markota has passed away. So is the other instructor, Steve, unfortunately, Steve Cardwell. And then I took at Margie Haber as well.
I love it. So somebody in the chat room is writing that you were on a movie called Death on the Nile and I liked her dance. Did you dance in a movie called Death on the Nile? I don't think you guys have the right person because I don't think she was in Death on the Nile.
I know the cast of Death on the Nile. She wasn't in that. No. So what's coming up in the future that we could talk about, that we're allowed to talk about?
Well, this Friday, I'm on Keeping Up with the Joneses. It's season 2. It's episode 2. I was on the first episode last Friday. So we get to see what happens with my character. That's 8/7 Central on Lifetime. I'm really excited about that. I love that character. She has a duality about her. So it was a lot of fun. Hang
on. Wait. So you guys Keeping Up with the Joneses, it's Vivica Fox, Candy Buress, other people that have been in the show. I don't know if they're regular, but that we know: Ted McGinley, Michael Pare, Paul Logan, and Eric Roberts, and Jamie Bernadette, who will be on her second episode this Friday at what time?
8
o'clock?
Central.
8/7 Central on Lifetime. Okay, what else you got?
I have Sebastian. It's a horror film. It's coming out October 22nd. I'm not sure what platforms yet. I'm waiting to find out. And yeah,
Who's in it with you? Who's in Sebastian with you?
Darius McCrary. You might know him from Family Matters.
Yes.
So yeah, he's great. Tori Hart from Hollywood. Clifton Powell from Ray. It's directed by Man Robinson. But yeah, it's scary. I'm excited about it. The trailer's actually been released. The director has released it, but they haven't started any press or anything yet. So hopefully you should be hearing more about it soon. And then I have Ash and Bone. I believe that's an October release as well. I don't have the exact date on that one, but that's directed by Harley Wallen. You guys know.
Harley's a good buddy of ours. And his lovely wife. She's so sweet.
Katie.
I
So
love her.
where are you actually from? Like I hear like a Missouri or St. Louis or like where are you from? It only comes out once in a while. Oh, Illinois. Okay. It only comes out every once in a while. You'll say something and I'll be like, oh, she lost her California accent.
Yeah, I had a really heavy accent when I started. Really heavy.
You know what? It's charming.
Oh, I love it.
Everybody says to me, you have such a New York accent. I say, yep. That's how come I go to work all the time. Because when they need a mobster or a gangster or a cop, they say, get Ron Russell because I'm authentic. I don't have to act New York or sound corny. Ever hear the actor do a corny New York accent? You could vomit. It's a joke.
Accents can be really tough, and they can take years to master for some people. So
Yeah, but if you have to play a Midwest, a Chicago cop, you just pull it right out of your brain, and you're a Chicago cop, authentic. You're not a phony Californian that's trying to sound like a Illinoisan. You know what I mean? It doesn't work. So you can use that. I'm sure that one day they're going to ask you to use your Chicago accent.
that'd be great. Then I don't have
I
to
know,
think about it.
No, it's
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
It's really wonderful when I get on this set and they say, "Okay, Ron, play a hood," and I say, "What do you want me to say over there?" I'm not going to talk anymore about anything bad. You know what I'm saying? It's so easy. It's so easy to speak.
So wait,
Brooklyn.
do you like what's the ultimate like goal? Would you like to be like a series regular, like on a This Is Us kind of like TV show, or
Jimmy, you pay so much money, of course. Are you nuts? I would be on a series
I know, but not
tomorrow.
everybody wants to do a
I
series.
would work naked at my
Okay,
age
but
in
I'm
a
not
series.
asking you. I'm asking her, and she's not
Well,
going to work
I'm
naked.
I'm just thinking how stupid your question
It's
is.
not stupid. What do you think? Would you like to be a series regular, like on a popular show, or do
No,
you
she
prefer?
wants to be on an unemployment
Or
line.
no, or she's never unemployed. She works all the time. She goes from movie to movie to movie.
Well, actually, Ron, you hit the nail on the head when you said cop. I would love to play a series regular on a TV show playing a cop or a
You'd
detective.
be a good cop.
Oh, like
I
Chicago
would,
PD.
I would cast you as a cop.
Yeah.
I love playing a cop because it's a great role to play. And you know what? The audience loves two characters in a movie. They love the cop and the crook. Remember that always. The crook always when I play mafia in the movie, everybody comments on my performance. They don't comment on the other people. They love hoods. If you're a gangster, well, look at the great gangsters of history, of film history. Yeah, you would make a good. Oh, I could like. Yeah, you should have a weekly
On
series.
Chicago PD, like you could like be one of the girls on Chicago PD.
You'd be one tough baby. Yeah, I would play opposite you as a gangster. I would love to play as a hood opposite you. I think you and I could really get energy going.
I think so.
Oh yeah, believe me. All right, copper, you're dead. Yeah. Keep it up, sweet face. I'm gonna blow both your tits off.
So you guys follow Jamie on Instagram. Her Instagram is Jamie Bernadette, JamieBernadette. She puts all her stuff up there on her Instagram for you to know what's coming up. So you'll definitely, she's got stuff up there about Friday nights, keeping up with the Joneses. I know I saw it earlier.
Everybody watch it. I heard a lot of good stuff about that.
You
show.
can follow her on Twitter, and her Twitter, I think, is Jamie Bernadette without the E on the end, right?
That's
Because
right.
it only lets you have 14 letters. So follow her on Twitter. You guys support all the things she does. You see how wonderful, how beautiful and nice and talented she is. So please support her. She's and everybody start tweeting to Chicago PD and tell them that you want to see her as a cop.
Yeah.
Great idea.
No, really.
Let's get behind her.
A cop that's tough, who goes after the slave trade people and the horrible people who rape and abuse young
Oh, I know.
children.
I wanted to ask you one other question too. So do you know Alessandro Fulcido?
Why is that name?
He's
from-
Italian. He lives in Atlanta. He's a stunt guy. I think he was out here recently. He's my business partner in I have a production company that we make movies and TV shows, and he's my business partner in there. And I noticed that he wrote on your Facebook thing today, oh wow, how cool, Jimmy's my partner. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you guys knew each other. So how do you know him?
His team was a stunt team on the film I directed, The Desecrated Ones.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Like it's like 6 degrees of separation.
You just read my mind, you
Really?
maricon. You stole my line. You
Oh.
stole that line out of my mind.
Oh well, I mean, it really is cool
See,
though,
when
because
you're married, you think alike. You have that with your husband. You
Have
both
what?
think, when you're married for a long time, you sort of think alike, and you say the same things at the same time. You
Yeah,
have that also.
Telepathy. Yeah, we just got married and we do that.
Well, but you've been together before you got married.
Not for very long, I'll be honest.
Really?
No.
So you're really a newlywed.
Really, yeah. I mean, we got together in late August of 2020, and he proposed, I believe it was March of 2021.
Okay, stop right there. Stop.
well, that's only like 8 months.
Stop right there. Do not go another further. How did he propose? Everybody wants to know. How did he propose?
Well, we went up the top of a mountain, took a tram, and he proposed up there, and then we had dinner. And
Wait, what did he say? What did he say? Shut up, Jimmy. I want to hear. What did he say? What did he say to you?
he got down on one knee, and
You're kidding. I love it.
which I appreciated because he's had been a stunt like motorcycle rider type racer, and so his knees aren't the best. So he got down on one knee, and that was amazing, and gave me a big long speech on that one very damaged knee, and it was really sweet. Yeah.
So
But I knew he was going to, because he was really nervous.
Did you give him the famous Betty Davis Warner Brother line? I'll let you know tomorrow. Or did you say, yeah, now let's go?
Oh yeah.
You knew he was the one.
I did know, and I could have been married like 4 times before, so
I'm sure.
it's not like I just rushed in, or
Right.
I wanted to get married. I didn't need to get married, actually. It wasn't at the top of my priority list or something I had to do. So I knew that he was the one. Yeah. And he said he knew with me second date, and he had come from long relationships as well. So I don't know. Sometimes you just know these things and you can't really explain it.
You know what? Congratulations. I'm happy for you.
I was dating 5 different guys. Jimmy was one of the 5. So I was dating 4 guys plus Jimmy, and I didn't like Jimmy. He was the least one I would ever think of staying with. And then suddenly it all turned around, and there was nobody else but Jimmy.
Oh.
We're married 10 years.
Yeah,
soon.
10 years in October.
Oh, that's sweet.
We're happy. You know,
It's fun. You
it's
got to have fun. All right, you guys, because we got another guest. So we want to.
Well, I love you. You're
we
a
wanna-
sweet guest, and thank you so much for being funny with us and
Playing along.
and playing with all my crazy shit that I say and do.
Oh, you guys were great. It was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Best of luck with the marriage. Best of luck in your career.
everything.
We'll see you at the
And
next
guess what?
premiere.
I hope I work with you one day.
You will, because I'm going to
serious.
put her in one of mine movies.
Oh, good. Then you may be in my scene. I would love to work with you.
So it'll be a lot of fun. Everybody follow Jamie, and make sure to check out Keeping Up with the Joneses Friday night at 8. Thank you so much. Bye,
Thanks,
Jamie.
Jen.
you.
And
Bye.
Janie, let me know how the haircut comes out.
Okay, I will.
All right,
right.
sweetie?
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Wasn't she fabulous, you guys? She was
She's
fabulous.
a darling girl. She's really sweet.
So, you guys, real quick, we're going to take a quick music break. We're going to play Young Zuck. The name of the song is Strike a Pose. And when we come back, we'll have our second guest, Karen Whelan. Take it away, Juan.
For the ones who was down on me. Yeah, who was down on me. Yeah.
D-Mark got the heat.
This is all for the ones who was doubting me. I'm the boss, CEO, now they envy me. Now they bumping on my music, I was proud to see. Take a pic, strike a pose, got me saying cheese. Got me riding through the city, and you know I'm with a bad bitch. Remember all the nights I was working, didn't have shit. Now I'm on top, and you know I'm living lavish. Told them fuck school, I was skipping all my classes. Come on, go and strike a pose. I was always moving fast and not slow. I'm on a money mission, what you wanna know? I told them nothing less than 50 for the show. Told them I'ma strike a pose. I'm on go. Catch me on a mission, right out with my bros. I was always moving fast and not slow. And when we pull up to the city, let them know. Tell them I'ma strike a pose. Tell me you don't hate, see it in your eyes. Thought you were an angel, just the devil in disguise. Had to give it all I had. Tell my mama that I tried. Caught up in the mix, I was reading all your lies. My dog told me drop that shit, get your ass to the stew. And writing another song if you down in the blues. I was down in my bag, got me popping all the blues. I'm running to the light like I'm breaking fights. Flashing at the scene, they on me. Man, I'm rolling off the molly with no sleep. I swear I've seen this up before in my dreams. Saying baby, strike a pose, I'm saying cheese, saying cheese. Got me riding through the city, and you know I'm with a bad bitch. Remember all the nights I was working, didn't have shit. Now I'm on top, and you know I'm living lavish. Told them fuck school, I was skipping on my classes. Come on, go and strike a pose. I was always moving fast and not slow. I'm on a money mission, what you wanna know? I told them nothing less than 50 for show. Told them I'ma strike a pose. I'm more and go. Catch me on a mission right now with my bros. I was always moving fast and not slow. And when we pull up to the city, let them know. Tell them I'ma strike a pose. Tell them I'ma strike a pose. Tell them I'ma strike a pose.
I love who? Young Doug.
He's not signed to a major label.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, that was Young Zuck. I love Young Zuck. He's super cool. That was Strike a Pose. Now we're going to bring on our next guest. Let's see if we can see her, and then we'll do an introduction.
There you are.
Hey,
Here
hello.
I am.
Oh, and we can hear you too. Good. All right, everybody. Now we want to welcome to the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell, transformational psychotherapist, intuitive consultant, tantric teacher, rising star, healer, workshop facilitator, retreat leader, international best-selling author, and author of 2 memoirs, Karen Whelan. Hello and welcome to the show.
Wow.
my
Thank you
God,
for the
I'm-
intro. Woo!
I'm out of freaking breath.
No, and you also have to say the name of the book she's in. That's
We're
how
gonna go back
That's
to
how
that in a
come
minute.
I know her.
That's what we're gonna. So you already know Ron, but let's say hi to
Sure.
Ron.
Hey, Ron. Hello.
Hi.
I did. Me and Ron
Hi,
had a
sweetie.
gorgeous conversation up in Bel
You're
Air.
a darling person. I really enjoyed you at that party. You're very open and honest, and you're sweet and warm and friendly. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
So we also have a
If you were
a
a snobby bitch, you wouldn't be here.
You did say I had a cute nose. I had a cute Irish nose. So I assumed it was the Irish nose that gifted me to be
there
here.
you go.
You do have a cute little Irish nose.
So also we have a chat room full of people. Say hi to everybody in the chat room and say hi to Catherine, who says you look beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Self-done.
you-
I know.
Now, I know that you have a lot of stuff to tell us, so I'm going to let you go and tell us. I'm not going to interrupt.
No, first of all, let's tell everybody about the book
The
real
book,
quick.
okay.
All right, so you guys. So Karen, who is the Solution Therapist, is one of the authors of Women Gone Wild, the Wealth Edition, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. A couple weeks ago, we had Rhonda Swan on, and Karen is on page 83, I think, right? I read your stuff. It's on page 83. And so tell us a little bit about the book and how you got involved with the book.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. You know, when I was asked to do the chapter on wealth, I was like, what the fuck do I know about wealth in terms of financial wealth? I was kind of like, I don't know what I can offer people, you know, as the concept of financial wealth. But then when we sat in the space and we were talking about everything, it went deeper for me. I went into that deeper place, that place for me where my wealth is when you're genuinely are connected into the truth of who you are. And when you know yourself so well, like I deeply know Karen, so I'm not afraid of the world out there. I don't show up. I'm not in fear. I'm not in doubt. And I don't mean that in an ego way. It's an honest way of being in the world. And that came from a life of massive suffering and transformation. I would have had a lot of pain in my life. For me, there's that 2 types of pain, which I learned, which I know personally, but I've also heard it again with my spiritual teacher. There's 2 types of pain. There's a pain that will really shut you down as a person, or there's that pain that makes you grow and evolve and become bigger than that environment of pain. And since I've come into this world as myself, I've really had to go through a lot of that experience where I've evolved constantly through my pain and suffering. So I sat down and I was like, if I could offer anything of wisdom to anybody, what would that be on? So I wrote about spiritual wealth. I wrote about, you know, when you have a great connection with your true self, how you can be anywhere in the world and you can be in any situation, and you're not going to get sucked into the drama of life, because you're going to be able to sit in a peaceful place within yourself, and you're going to be able to stay with yourself in that environment. And that to me is very enriching. You can't buy that. You can't. Sometimes people feel they need to fill that void up, and they do. They will go off and they'll buy, you know, the material stuff, and they believe that that will satisfy them, and it doesn't. That relationship with ourselves is the only thing that will truly satisfy us.
I have to tell you that I love your accent so much. No, yes, I am, because we need to have a conversation with it all.
Absolutely.
I'm interested in what she's saying. She's setting it up, and then she's going to tell us all about the bad stuff that happened in her life, like she told me at the party.
Oh, absolutely, because you've gone through a lot. I wrote a whole bunch of stuff down, and I read from your bio, and I read the chapter that you wrote in the book, which is fascinating, and everybody should get the book. Also, real quick, we should tell everybody you can follow Karen on Instagram. She's at the.solution.therapist on Instagram, and her Twitter is Karen Whelan with an underscore afterwards for Twitter. I only got that's so funny. I just saw the thing that you wrote. We were talking about marriage with the last guest, and she wrote,
Oh yeah.
I won't say that.
You can. It's okay. We're here to do it.
She said, I only got engaged. I found the bloody ring when he was shitting in the toilet. She did. When we had the last guest talking about how she got engaged, she said, this is how she got engaged.
It's so true. I actually ruined my own romantic surprise. He had moved over. My partner, Jeff, I'm marrying him in August.
Congratulations, because that's coming up.
Yeah, and he moved over from Scotland. His life over here to be with me. And I decided to take him to a beautiful place in Ireland called Killarney. It's so beautiful there. The land is ancient. It's gorgeous there. And I took him there, and I'm the type of woman that when I get to a hotel, I like to unpack the bags and I like to put everything away and settle into the space. So my gorgeous man went in to have a shit, basically in the toilet, after a 4-hour drive. And while he was in the bathroom and I took out the clothes, I saw a ring box. Now, I wasn't jolted because this ring box had been in his bedroom on a meditation altar and it was empty. So in my head, I went, what the fuck is he doing with this empty ring box? So when I opened it, there was my ring. And I panicked. I closed the box. I ran out of the hotel room and I rang my daughter. She's 16. And I was like, you're not going to believe what I just did. I just found my own engagement ring. And she's like, Mom. And she said, where are you? I said, I'm actually running into the shop to buy fake nails because my nails weren't even pretty. So that was my little girl. I kind of knew the whole weekend it was going to happen. But it was still glorious how it happened. And it was still
They're saying congratulations in the chat room. Oh, did we make you say hi to the chat room or no? Say hi to the chat room. I know you were in there earlier.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa, for that. Thank you for my congratulations. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. However, my wedding dress does not fit. So if any women out there have any advice about that, it fitted before I went to America, and I've been with the book touring in America from Vegas to LA and then New York. And I've just been enjoying the experience. So I came home and I tried on the dress and no.
Oh, is it like too tight? A little bit too tight?
I have to literally pull it hard down over my bum, to get it to the floor. And then it's kind of not sitting here, but it'll be fine.
Well, how many weeks do you have until you get married?
4.
Okay, so you have 4 weeks. Don't eat.
This is the exciting part of all of it.
No, it's fun.
The before is far more exciting than the after. The after is kind of like melancholy. Wow, it was, now it's not. But the before is, wow, what's it going to be?
Yeah. And this is the story. All of this is the story. The dress wouldn't fit, disaster time, all of that. This will all lead to a wonderful after story when we
what I really want to know is, I want you to talk about what had happened to you as a young girl. Sure. And for those people watching us that has had this happen to them, how to cope with it. Because I am a thing about ageism. I'm a big fighter of ageism and suicide. A lot of gay people commit suicide. A lot of young people commit suicide. And a lot of rape victims commit suicide. And if you can help people out there, because we have over 5 million people all over the world that listen and watch our show. So I think that you can really get to some people who need it desperately to hear how to cope with the horrors.
And how you got out of it.
The horrors that adults can do to children, or the horrors that people can do to each other.
Yeah, so we're shifting into a more serious energy. Yeah, I'll absolutely share. Yeah, I came into this world and, my environment that I was born into, there was a lot of physical violence and sexual abuse. So that continued until I was 14. And when I became 8 years of age, I became conscious that this whatever it was, this was not okay, what was happening to me. It was almost like I had no memory of this happening until I was 8 years of age. And that would make sense to me as a therapist, because we become conscious and more conscious of ourselves. We become aware that we're in a body and we have this body, and my body is separate from you and I'm a separate person from you. Before that, we're kind of meshed with the world in an innocent way. So at 8, I became very aware that what was happening to me was really not okay. And I started to build up this internal resentment, but this resentment started to go in on top of myself as a person. I began to really hate myself. I blamed myself. I blamed this is happening to me because of me, because I'm wearing skirts, because I'm a little, I used to love dancing, so I was very free and uninhibited in my little way of being. And when I was 14, I ran away. I had enough. I couldn't cope with the pain. I couldn't cope that every Friday would come. And every Friday I would get that call where I was called to come down. And every Friday the sexual abuse would happen to me. And I hated it. I lived in terror. You know, it was like I dreaded the Friday coming. I dreaded when it would happen. I would try to find ways for it not to happen. And the only thing that saved me when I was a teenager was having a period. When I had my period, it wouldn't happen to me. So I began to always say, oh, I have my period, I have my period. It was my only way of having safety to protect
Defense.
myself. Yeah, it was my only defense. So I did it's now I can call it brave. Back then it didn't feel brave. In Ireland, the culture was you keep everything quiet and you don't talk about things. And, you know, I grew up knowing that, you know, don't say and don't open your mouth. And I would have been threatened as well. If you say this is what will happen. But I pushed back past that and I walked into a social service building and I reported the abuse.
Good for you.
Which was terrifying, but it was, now I appreciate that inner 14-year-old self. Back then it was, I remember trembling. I remember the fear of, what if they don't believe me? What if they put me away? You know, what if they think I'm the problem? The fear of that was so excruciating for me. And I did, I showed up and I spoke out and I said, no more, I don't want this anymore. And I was never aware that I had that power to say no, that I had power to do something about this, because I had been very disempowered. When you're being abused, you're being objectified and the person almost owns you and owns everything about you. So there's no sense of you in it. So I had not realized that I had this power to defend myself and take care of myself. I did not know that at the time, but then I became aware that I had enough. This has to stop. So I did, I spoke out, and you know, it was great chaos in my family, amongst my family. People did not know how to handle this. It was so big. People did not know what to do with it. Unfortunately for me, I felt nobody cared. I felt it didn't matter. I'm a problem. I'm making everyone around me very upset. I've after brought this problem onto their laps. And unfortunately, as a result of that and the self-hate that I had, I attempted suicide when I was 15. And I remember just locking myself away in the bathroom and looking in the mirror, just hating. I didn't even recognize that girl in the mirror. I hate her so much. I wanted out. I wanted out of the pain of my life. I wanted out of the suffering. And I really hated her with a lot of fury. And I remember taking the pills, painkillers, and just really fucking furiously saying to her, I hate you. I hate you. Look what you've done. I did wake up the next morning and I was angry that I was here. And later on that day I did collapse, and then I was brought to the hospital and flushed out and kept in the hospital for a few days and released. Because I was still here, I spiraled. That self-hate was so toxic in me, I spiraled downwards. I ended up taking drugs to numb the pain. I started to become very promiscuous. I would give my body to older guys. I was homeless on the streets. I was bed hopping. You know, I would show up at school, but I would take drugs and then I'd walk out of school. And I'm 15 years of age. And my mother thinks, you know, I'm with a friend, I'm staying at a friend's house and I go to school. And I moved in with my grandmother, a wonderful woman. And that was probably the first time at 15 where I felt I belonged somewhere. You know, I never felt I
Good.
belonged. And she was a great woman. She was a bloody chain smoker. She would put out a cigarette and she'd light another one. And I began to smoke cigarettes with her. Dear God, when I think of it, you know, I remember getting a whitener and becoming physically sick because I kept on smoking cigarettes with this beautiful woman. And I lived with her for 6 months, and I'd climb into her bed and I'd cuddle with her, and I loved my grandmother. And then she was diagnosed with lung cancer, and she passed very quickly, actually. And I was back on the streets and back hating everybody and being very angry. So at 16, I was done with being on the streets and just sleeping on people's sofas and beds. And I walked into a hotel and I asked, would they give me a job? I wanted money. I was 16, and the woman handed me a toothbrush. And she said, if you clean the skirting boards, which is the wood part along the floor against the wall, she said, if you can clean this whole floor with this toothbrush, I will consider giving you a job. I stayed on my hands and knees from about 4 hours. I was still there scrubbing, happy to do it, very happy to do it. And she came back and she was like, oh, you're still here. And she goes, okay, you have a job. That was brilliant. I lived in the hotel up in the staff rooms. I had a home, I had a job, and then I moved in with a girl who worked in the hotel as well, and she was a single mom with a child. And at the weekend, we would lock the house down, and about 20 people would come in, and it was hardcore drugs. It was mixing cocaine, it was mixing speed, it was taking acid, it was smoking,
Terrible.
Cannabis. I had no care. I had no regard for who I was. I wanted to feel like I belonged. So anywhere in any environment that accepted me was good enough for me. That's how I believed, and that was my lack of worthiness. My life transformed one day in work. There was this conference about being an au pair in America, and I had this romantic notion of going to America, working with a family who had a white picket fence. In Ireland, we assume everyone has a white picket fence.
Right.
Thanks to the movies. And I applied for the job as an au pair, and I was offered it, but I wasn't driving, so I couldn't get it. That then caused a chain of events, and 3 months later, just after turning 17, I'm sitting on a plane,
Hang on one sec. Hey, Juan, is that her or us? There's
What
a
happened?
weird noise going on. Hey, Juan, is that her or us? Jimmy, check your cables, it says. Okay.
My mic is good.
I don't know what that is.
energy. Does it sound okay now when I speak? Yeah. I can't hear you now. You're muted, guys. It's coming from her.
All right. How about that? Can you hear me?
Are we up?
I can't hear her. Now she's muted.
Now,
There we go.
Is that better?
Oh,
I removed
yay.
the mic. Is that better?
Yeah, went away. Good.
Oh, the ghosts are active today.
The ghosts are active. Okay. Thanks, Juan.
They're all filling in, listening to us.
Sorry about that. Now that we've lost that momentum, can you go quickly to how you became who you are presently? What made you go? What made you decide to do what is that you do now?
Yeah, wonderful question. That came about when I jumped to France at 17. I met the woman I worked for was extraordinary. I crashed my scooter one day, cracked my ribs and broke my finger. And she basically put her hands on me and healed me and said to me very, very truthfully, if you don't learn about forgiveness, she said, you're going to become very, very, very sick. That stayed with me for a long, long time. And I did. I went on a path of forgiveness. I sat down with my abuser when I returned home from France. I was 19 and I was a single mom with my son. And I started to have these dialogues with my abuser. For me, my abuser admitted to it, did not deny it when I first outed them. And we sat there and I had those conversations. Why me? Why would you do this to me? Like, why? And what transpired was I discovered in that moment, listening to the person, they shared their story. I realized this person was very broken and very damaged. It's not that it excused what happened to me, but it gave me an understanding that hurt people will hurt people. And this person is very damaged. And I became very aware of that. And in that moment, it kind of gave me a peace inside of myself. And I wanted to go off and really understand the depths of the soul of a person. So I went off and I really went into the training of psychotherapy, and I went off on big trainings where I'd go off on silence retreats with myself and go into deep water fasts, and people wouldn't see me for days on end, and I just needed to connect into that inner wisdom of me. I realized for me, my abuse had an impact on me, but the biggest impact that happened to me is when I stopped loving who I was, when I totally turned my back on Karen and I hated her. That's really where the biggest suffering started to come in, that relationship with myself. And the more I started to train in psychotherapy, the more I sat with people, and sitting with people, even who, are choosing to leave the planet, I really was able to recognize very quickly, the pain in their body and how to sit and hold that pain with them, but how to restore that relationship and help them to see themselves in a very different mindset, in a very different way. And that's really what brought me into the work, is to be in service to the hearts and souls.
So in a powerfully short way, what can you say to someone out there who was in the spot that you were in, who is now in the spot that you were in? What would you tell them if they were in your office right now as a client?
Yeah. If somebody came into me and was sitting there and as a client who has been suffering sexual abuse, I would tell them to see that little inner child. If they're an adult, I would get them to see that inner child, and I would get them to hear and to say to this inner child, this is happening to you, not because of you. It's not because of you. This is happening to you, but right now we have a choice. We can work with the impact it's having inside of you and the story you're telling yourself inside of yourself because of this impact, and which is causing the suffering. But it's not happening to you because of who it is that you are.
Cool.
That's wonderful. Those are beautiful words. Now we have to get funny again. So Jimmy,
no, I don't want to
no
get
longer
totally
sexually abuse me.
No, that's funny. So
I'm not going to blame myself.
I'm very familiar with what a psychotherapist is, because I was actually, before Ron, I was with someone who was a psychotherapist for 25 years.
Another guy that was out of his mind by the way.
But so a workshop facilitator, I get that. What's an intuitive consultant?
Yeah. So, and this is why my name is called the Solution Therapist. I was always trying to figure out, how do I language what it is that I do in the room with people? Because in truth, I'm not doing it. Something takes me over. It's almost like, and I love people like Wayne Dyer who can use wonderful words. You're not the doer, you're being done. When I sit with somebody, I can't ever tell you what way the session is going to go. Like, I worked with a lady the other day, and, she was really experiencing energy that was causing her business to fall apart and everything. But sitting with her psychically, I could see an event that triggered all of this inside of her, this inner chaos and turmoil. This happens to me. I can sit with you. I might pick up on an argument that you're holding on to inside of yourself that you had with somebody, and it's leaving an imprint on you. So for me, that's the intuitive part. When I'm sitting with you, I'm so attuning to you and your consciousness and your being. I feel it in my own self. I can feel physical pain at times. I can feel heavy emotions in me at times. And I just have come to learn in a real profound way that what is mine and what is yours, because I've done so much deep inner work. I have a strong sense of heart. So I know it's the process of the client, so I can really tune in. So for me, that's why I call myself the Solution Therapist. It's like really working with the solutions for your soul, for your betterment and your evolvement as a person.
So you guys, her website too is Soul, SOUL, solutiontherapist.com. Also, so I said in an intro that we did that besides the Women Gone Wild book, you also have 2 memoirs that you wrote. So you're like what are the memoirs like? What are the memoirs? First of all, what are they titled, and then
Right.
how do they differentiate?
The first memoir is called Come Home to Yourself, and it is my memoir about my childhood story, which you heard bits of it. The second book is called The Journey Home, and then the third one, as my son says, is it going to be called Arriving Home? Because, the language. The second book, really, I wrote that when I was in my darkest night of the soul. I went through another, metamorphosis, a crisis point. This is what I was talking about when I said sometimes pain can really get you to expand and wake up more and transcend the things around you. So the second book I wrote about that, and it's a book around really recognizing the programs that hold us back and how sometimes we can live our lives unconsciously and we're not even aware of why we are the way we are and why we think the way we are, and it can be inherited, it can be passed on from our parents. So the second book really captures that it, through my personal story, it captures how we can be living a life, through programming and not being consciously aware, and how to wake up really to yourself.
Okay. Hang on, I'm thanks everybody. There's lots of people talking in the chat room, so.
I think the chat room has really gotten an earful, and I hope that it has helped people because it's a serious thing to have been abused as a child. It stays with you forever and ever. No matter how you try to blank it out, it comes back. I was abused as a little boy of 4 years old, and nothing happened sexually, but there was an attempt. In the projects we lived in, the janitor took me down in the basement, pulled down my pants. I ran out and went upstairs and told my mother that the chocolate man, because he was a black fella, threw water on my coolie because I had no idea what it was. And that stays with me till this day. Jane Russell, who was my best friend and buddy, always said to me that most gay men were sexually abused as children. And I argued with her and I said, not so. And then I remembered this incident that had happened. And I thought, well, there's a possibility that what Jane is saying is true. I don't think it made me gay. I don't know. At 4 years old, I don't think it was a happy experience to make me want to do it again. But this is the first time I've ever discussed it publicly. I figure if you can do it, I can do it.
Thank you, Ron, for that.
It bothers me still. And Jimmy knows that. I discuss it often with Jimmy. It's a terrible thing to have been frightened that way sexually.
Yeah. And all emotion, just to put it into context, all emotion is energy in motion. And we hold emotions in our body. So if we don't connect to the emotion that you would have embodied when you were 4, I mean, when you think of a 4-year-old, they don't have the language or the mental sophistication to really understand what's happened. So they embody the experience in a profound way, and it goes deep into the unconscious, and it can stay in there, and up from those seedlings, becomes ways of feeling and being, and it's really to go in and meet that part to yourself. I recognize, it's not that I'm an expert on sexual abuse. I do have a lived experience of it, but for me, there's something in around going after the innocence within the other person. That's something I really recognize from the work. It's almost like they're wanting to take the innocence out of you in a real way. Because when I look at a baby, I only see pure innocence and love and joy. But when I was looked at, I was an object of desire and satisfaction. So that innocence is not there. That being of that person and the innocence of what they are is not there. And that's the damage. That's the damage that is.
Well, the damage went further because as an adult of around 33 or 34 years old, I had an argument with my father and I was really tough with him. And my mother got very upset. And she said to me, "Don't you dare ever speak to your father that way. He loves you so much. Do you know what he did to that man?" I said, "What man?" She said, "The janitor who tried to rape you." I said, "No." She said, "Your father went across the street to the Italian club to his friends. They found the guy. They brought him under the bridge. And they said, 'Do you want to shoot him or should we?' And my father said, I will. They shot him and threw him in the river. And that's a true story. It's a sad story, but it's a true story.
Yeah.
So my father was Italian, and you don't touch his children. If you do, you die. As I would also feel the same way if anybody touched my daughters that way. These people that do this to children should be put to sleep because they're of no worth to anything on the planet. If you are that deranged that you have to assault an innocent child, you should be put to death, I firmly believe, because the damage is just irreversible. I know.
Actually, it's not irreversible because she reversed hers.
You reverse it, but you don't lose it.
But you don't lose it.
Yeah, you never lose. I mean, here I am at 82 years old discussing something that happened in 1944. I mean, it's a lot of years ago, to remember it so well. But as we get older, we start to remember things that we had as children much easier than years ago. When I was 50, I didn't remember anything. Now, as I got older, I'm remembering my past more.
There's that warrior energy in me. I made that vow to myself. I was going to go and find myself again. I was going to go and find that part of Karen that was robbed by the experience, because my potential of who I could have been, got shattered. I got very shattered from that experience. It took me a long time to put myself back together again, but I made a vow to not let this have an impact inside of me and on my life, because the person and the event does not deserve to have space in me anymore as a human being. I can use the wisdom of it to inform the work, but by God, am I not going to allow what happened to me and the person? And this is not a denial. It is what I've reclaimed. I've really reclaimed myself because I came here to have an experience in this form called Karen. God gave me my inheritance the day I showed up here when I was born. That was my inheritance from God, the divine. By God, am I not going to allow another physical human being take that inheritance from me anymore? And that was a vow I made to myself. And that saw me go off into many healing modalities, ayahuasca, meditations. It saw me go in and really cleanse my soul self of it. So I could say yes to me more, Jimmy and Ron. I have to say yes to Karen. My son said it to me before. You're here to live your life, to be yourself and live it to your fullest and fullness. He said, that's so cool. You don't need to self-permission. I lived a life looking for permission from everyone else to live. Not anymore, and that's where that is the heart of me. I don't live my life for anyone, only for me. I could be gone tomorrow, who knows? And I really want to just say yes to everything and really have a richness of experiences. And I know how powerful I am. If this happened to me, I am powerful enough to heal it in me as well. And that was
absolutely. Now that I like, everybody's writing about how strong you are, and everybody knows, everybody who watches our show knows how strong Ron is. Like, you guys are both very strong individuals.
Growing up as a gay boy, you take a lot of abuse. You have to be a fighter. My father was a very tough man, an extremely important man and an extremely tough man. And my father taught me never to take shit from anybody. He used to say to me all the time, never bend down to any man unless to pick him up because he's ill. And I believe that. And I'm tough. I've had to be tough all my life. Unfortunately, society is not understanding always of other people. Back in the early 1950s, gay was considered mentally ill.
That's right.
And anyone that was effeminate or a faggot, as they used to say, got a beating, was thrown out of the crowd, was never in the group, was never liked. So you had to become an actor. Maybe that's why I'm such a good actor today, because at a very young age, I had to act, to camouflage my femininity, to hide my homosexuality, to have girlfriends and eventually a wife and 2 children, to want to be a part of society as we know it. Today, society is built of many different kinds of people. So you don't have to hide anymore. There's no such thing as get married and fool everybody. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
I probably would have had an easier go of it if I were 4 years old today. But back then it was kind of primitive and it was horrifying because back then no one, as you said, spoke of it.
Yeah.
So you went through life never discussing it. This is the first time I've ever brought that out, especially publicly. And I feel better.
Jimmy. Ron, I just want to say to that, firstly, thank you, and how beautiful it is to sit with the 2E, and really tap into something so real. This is what makes human connections and conversations transformative and impactful. It's the real story. It's the real dialogue. It's the realness. For me, right now, it's like I see the same thing in society. There is a consciousness where everyone is obsessed with fucking oppressing and controlling the other person and what they do. It's just translating itself out there at the moment. I mean, look at the vote that happened there recently in America for women, again, and control on what a woman can do with her own body. Society has become so obsessed with control.
Yes.
My grandmother always used to say, I'd come in and I want to tell on someone, and she would say, mind your own fucking business. The best.
She's right.
No, I think she's right, though. Also, we want to give a quick shout out. Denise Flynn. I think she's someone you work with, and she's in the chat room. She's been there a long time, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. So say hi to Denise, everybody. Welcome, Denise.
Hey.
Well, I hope that you and I, with our confessions, help somebody out there. And please don't hurt yourself. Don't harm yourself. Don't punish yourself. What has been done to you was done without your consent, without your willingness, and without your wanting. Yeah. The perpetrator is the creature, the monster, the evil one, the sick one, the mentally ill one, probably who has been abused all of he or she, their lives. They say that abusers have been abused. Thank God I've never abused my children or any young person.
You don't abuse anybody.
I don't. I mean, it's not in me, so I don't know how true it is that an abused is an abuser.
Yeah, it's important. Like for me, that was my conscious thing was when I gave birth. I was 19 when I had my son. His dad was French, and I came home to have Aaron, and his dad wrote me 3 weeks before I gave birth to say, I hope your family will take care of you. I'm left abandoned with a big belly. And my idea of living in France was gone, taken from me in that moment. But when Aaron came into this world, he awoke in me my redemptive heart, giving birth to that child did. And in that moment, I realized I'm going to make sure that he doesn't inherit any of what I went through on this planet. And I understand that as a psychotherapist, we call it the intergenerational work, where you heal the patterns that have been passed on through the family that are, negative patterns, that are abusive patterns, and you heal the trauma in the now. You heal it so that your own generational line never has to take that on. So as a mother, I feel very proud that I've done this deep work on behalf of my beautiful children.
What does your son do?
Aaron, he's 24, he's turning 25. Aaron would have done film acting in Dublin. He always wanted to go into acting, which I was shocked at the time because he's such a profound, beautiful, quite unassuming, wonderful young boy. So when he said acting, I was like, I didn't know you could act or you had that flavor for acting. And he did. He went off and he found his passion. Then he went to India to work in an orphanage out in India, and he loved working with the kids. And he came back when COVID happened. So at the moment, he's working in the community in an arts center, helping out, with the arts people. So,
cool.
Yeah.
I'd like to say one thing about my situation. My parents took me to the hospital to have me examined. There was no penetration. There was no sign of any kind of sexual assault. It was simply what I said. I was a smart enough kid at 4 to sense it was wrong, and I was frightened, and I ran out of the cellar below the projects. You know what projects are. There are multiple buildings where poor people live.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why I never had a desire to abuse a child. God forbid I'd kill myself if ever I did, but I don't.
No, you don't. You don't.
No, I don't even abuse my husband. He wishes I would.
So we have 1 minute left, you guys. Also, there's someone named Hillary. Catherine wrote Hillary's there too. So say hi to Hillary. You guys, This is Karen Whelan, you guys. She's the Solution Therapist. Her website is Solution, S-O-U-L, so soul, like solution, but soul, solutiontherapist.com. You can follow her on Instagram. It's at the.solution.therapist. And then her Twitter is Karen Whelan _. Follow her. Get the book. The book is Women Gone Wild. She's page 83, the Wealth Edition, The Feminine Guide to Fearless Living. We want to congratulate you on all your success and how you've really made such a wonderful life for yourself and your family. We wish you the best on your wedding that's coming up.
Yes, and thank you for coming on our show.
And thank you for coming on the
giving
show.
us a very different show than we always have. This was a very, very serious show, a very important show. And I really hope that you have helped people out there who are or were in your situation.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my love. You're sweetie, and I hope we meet again.
Yes, because
and have a wonderful wedding and a wonderful married life.
We'll stay in touch on Instagram anyway. We're like always messages. Love you. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Love you.
All
Bye.
right, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. Chat room. Thank you so much. We had a great time, and we'll see you guys next week. Everybody, see ya. Bye bye.
Bye.
Can turn out to be so wrong. Yeah, we in the mix. Yeah, we in the mix. It's another episode. Here we go. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Interviewing the hottest, newest, and truest of today's celebrities. Make sure to subscribe so you can get notified weekly. Jimmy Star, he's the king of cool. Ron Russell, he's a gorgeous dude. Chat room is live and you would be a fool not to vibe with us at the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. Come watch it live on W4CY Radio. Miss some past episodes, download on iTunes. The Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell. It's the Jimmy Star Show with Ron Russell.